Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Kid and welcome back to another top 10 list. This time, this is going to be a follow-up to my top 10 favorite boss fights list that my buddy Shade Midnight helped edit. Without any hesitation, here are my top 10 least favorite boss fights. But first, let's go over a few rules on how a boss can qualify for the list. First off, extremely high speed and attack. Even if you're at the recommended level, some of these bosses can still wipe the floor with you, even if you also have some of the best equipment at a certain point in the game, you'll still die numerous times. Secondly, bullshit skills. Do I even need to say why this is a rule? Thirdly, gimmicks. Two bosses already came to mind when mentioning that. Fourthly, spamming attacks. When the boss spams the same attack to the point where someone who spams Bowser's side special say that the boss is spamming, we have a problem. This time I'm including 1 to 2 bosses per game. So, without further ado, game on! Number 10, we have the eldest twin of the Sons of Sparta, Virgil. This time his final boss battle from Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. The reason why I put this version of the DMC Resident Edgelord on this list is because of this reason. He can block, and more often times than not, he'll teleport into the air followed by a Helm Breaker and finally a Stinger. Keep in mind that if the Helm Breaker hits, you are stunned in place. The only counter that I can find to this is using the Trickster style, but if you're someone who wants to level up all the styles, like me, then you'll most likely not have that equipped unless you're playing the Switch version of DMC3. Virgil, I love you, but this is a pathetic excuse for a final boss fight. Number 9, we have Death from Castlevania Lament of Innocence. I know I'm putting another final boss on this list, but trust me, I have my reasons. Okay, so you just took out Death's first health bar, with ease, right? So, what does old Skull and Crossbones do in response? He spams what according to the Castlevania fandom wiki calls Deadly Tempest. This move can suck a big one in all honesty. This is the only move he will spam after his first health bar is depleted, and it starts as a diving missile before becoming an AoE move upon impact. And as the cherry to this already unbearable final boss, he can perform Demonic Megiddo, which if you saw when you first battled against Walter Bernard is an even bigger AoE attack. And if and when you go against him in this game's hard mode known as Crazy Mode, he gets a fucking nuke attack on top of his projectile attacks, getting homing lightning bolts. But, luckily for me, I never got to experience that. Did I also forget to mention that he is immune to the sub-weapons? Another pathetic excuse for our final boss. When the final boss has to spam one attack to try and put up a challenge, then you know that the final boss sucks! Number 8 is a boss coming from the 2016 reimagining of Ratchet and Clank. What? A Ratchet and Clank boss on this list? Yes, you heard me correctly. Mrs. Zircon is on here because of one of those reasons. The absolute swarm of Mr. Zircons during the fight. This is just pure laziness. At least with the Hypersonic Brainwave Scrambler, it's situational since Clank only has like 4 HP. Here, this is just pure annoyance. Another reason is that when you start challenge mode, and if you have a fully upgraded Omega Rhino Extreme, you could just shred through her health bar. Oh, and don't worry about running out of ammo. There's a weapon vendor during the battle. Even on the hard difficulty, this is ironically easy. Coming in at the number 7 spot comes from a rather obscure game I bet only a select few have heard of. That game of course being Dantes Inferno. So which out of all the 9 bosses am I putting on here? Well then, welcome to the biggest fat fucking gaming history, none other than Allegario di Bellionce. I put this greedy selfish tub of shit on here primarily for this reason. I fucking hate him as a character. He is the father to our main protagonist Dante Alighieri and the husband of Bella Abati. During Dante's childhood, Allegario was not only greedy but also abusive towards Belle and berates his own son around since he believes Dante is weak. And just to make this guy an even bigger asshole, he would steal from the poor, form parties, and have sexual intercourses with many women, including prostitutes. And as the cherry to the shit-tastic sundae that is this character, because of his own actions and behavior, Belle, Alighieri's own wife and Dante's only mother, ended up committing suicide. And this bastard had the balls to lie to Dante that she died from a fever. Fuck you, Alighieri. It was satisfying murdering you. Number 6 is an optional boss coming from the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC. So what happens when you combine Sephiroth's speed and agility with the Lingering's will, raw strength and ruthlessness? We get this bastard. This is Yozora, or as I like to call him, the bastard child of Sephiroth and the Lingering Will. This guy makes Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Lingering Will look like some of the easiest super bosses ever. Not only is this guy fast, he also sports 13 health bars. I guess this is supposed to be a subtle reference to Final Fantasy Versus 13. Well, not only does he have the biggest health bar, but he can steal the Keyblade from you. Yes, you heard me right. This silver-haired, complete heterochromic dick can steal the Keyblade from you. Just hope that you have good reflexes when it comes to dodging. Speaking of stealing, he can steal items from you. And new to this game are Koopa coins, which can revive you from death. And what happens when you beat him and he steals your items and it just so happens he stole a Koopa coin? He gets back every single health bar, making all that hard work effectively worthless. No optional boss from this franchise made me want to hurl my DualShock 4 out of a window and destroy my TV more times than this fucking asshole. Now you see why I call him the bastard child of Sephiroth and the Lingering Will. Number 5 comes from a Metroidvania game released in 2019 and produced by the legend himself, Koji Igarashi. I'm of course talking about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, with the boss count only being around 14, which one of them is the prime candidate for the number 5 spot. None other than the alchemist himself, Alfred. More specifically, him during the boss rush on hard mode. This man's poison hurts. Like, really fucking hurts. First off, they can hit you like projectiles. Secondly, if they do splash, they do an insane amount of damage, even with the best equipment you can craft. Thirdly, I believe halfway through, he summons something that can slow you down. And finally, he spams that accursed order shit, which gives you the curse effect. The curse effect in this game basically reduces your total HP by 50%. On top of the insane damage from the potions and the slowdown effect, you'll be dying to this old coot more times than dying to the average Dark Souls boss. And speaking of Dark Souls 3 may have some of the greatest bosses, but 2 of them are the perfect candidate for this list. Here's one of them. Make way for the old Demon King. This asshole's attack is honestly way too high, even when you have armor that has high fire and physical absorption. I was facing this guy at around level 41, level 42, and level 40 is the recommended level to try and stand a chance against this guy. First off, remember how I said even with high fire absorption, he'll still murder you? Well, even with high fire absorption, he can still kill you in 2 hits! And I can count numerous times that he used the same move multiple times, even after killing me. So how did I eventually beat him? Did I use summons for the extra assistance? No. I just took a calm, methodical approach and just rolled. Phase 2 isn't being spared. In fact, it's worse. First off, his AoEs are one of 2 things. A ring of fire which not only goes in but also back out dealing half damage, and discount meteor ring from Final Fantasy VII, which can't kill you but can murder your frame rate, which usually I don't care about. But if it's during a boss fight as brutal as this, that's where I draw the line, buddy. Oh, Devil May Cry. I just can't seem to escape you, much like how Josh Scorcher can't stop talking about Kingdom Hearts. So, I already put Virgil way back at number 10, so who's taking home the bronze? Well, none other than the demon half of Virgil, which the mysterious one known as V calls Urizen, the Demon King. I'm putting the fight when Dante obtains his Sin Devil trigger as well as the Hell in Hell version of this fight. The reason why I put this version of the Urizen fight as well as the difficulty is because of the gimmick of the Hell in Hell mode itself. You die in one hit, and you have 4 chances to beat the mission. Failed, and you have to start the entire mission all the way back from the very beginning. Now, onto Urizen himself. He instantly sends tentacles at you, and yes, they home in on you. -1 gold ore. Secondly, he can summon geysers of demonic energy. Not that hard to dodge. Thirdly, giant fire demonic energy balls after summoning a sphere to slow you down. -1 gold ore. And finally, summoning more than 1 tentacle. -1 gold ore. The thing that will most likely screw you over at the beginning is how slow the Sin Devil trigger is. Urizen, you may be the thing to unlock an optional ending, but this fight on this difficulty sucks. Even with the super characters on this. Sucks! Well, back to the world of Disney and Final Fantasy. Now, I already put Yozora from Remind on here, but this is also the final boss of the game that takes place after the original Kingdom Hearts. I'm talking about Kingdom Heart of the Cards, otherwise known as Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. The boss I'm talking about is none other than the final boss of Sora's story, number 11, the graceful assassin of my sanity, Marluxia. Oh god, we meet again, you pink-haired son of a bitch! Marluxia makes the list just from how difficult Phase 1 is. Yes, you heard me right. Phase 1, and he can easily kick your ass. Phase 2 might actually be the easiest out of the 3 phases. Fall phase is where the bullshit really makes itself known. First off, he can blow you away, which also scatters your cards. Wonderful! Secondly, Doom. You basically need to have 0 or high number cards to counter and pray. I'm pretty sure this move can also insta kill you if you're not successful. And to add some insult to injury, his data fights in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind is easier. I beat this man with almost a fully upgraded Kingdom Key on my first fucking go! Before I announce my number 1 least favorite boss fight, here are some dishonorable mentions. Ansem from Rechain of Memories, Data Shion from Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, Aesir from Bayonetta 2, Mundus Phase 1 from the original Devil May Cry, and finally the Egg Dealer from Shadow the Hedgehog. Without further ado, my number 1 least favorite boss fight is the Abyss Watchers from Dark Souls 3. Yep, saying it right now, fuck this battle. If you want the definition of a roadblock boss fight, this battle is the living definition of one. First off, this is the very first Lord of Cinder boss fight you're going to face, and to have the first Lord of Cinder fight be this almost borderline impossible is just batshit fucking insane! I'm not even exaggerating when I say that this boss made me quit Dark Souls 3 for a long ass time. It wasn't until I watched Dark Souls 3 Seasoning Ash by Matthew Shesman that my interest got reignited. I'm also not exaggerating when I say it took me until sophomore year of high school when I finally beat this bastard. Keep in mind, I got Dark Souls 3 as a birthday present when I was in 7th grade, I believe. And I beaten the Abyss Watchers during my sophomore year. So I was around 13 when I first encountered them, and I was 15 when I finally beaten them. So it took me 2 years to beat them. Personal history out of the way, let's talk about the boss battle itself. I know some attacks are parryable, which can make this fight a complete joke, but I was playing with a mouse and keyboard, so parrying wasn't for me. If you get to the main watcher, I want to say a fourth of the way down, another shows up and tries to kill you. Fairness, what's that? Says Dark Souls 3. Don't worry, another shows up to fight on your side. Once you beat the main watcher, you think that this hell of a boss fight will be over, right? Well, guess what? He has a phase 2 where he goes all Ember. And not only are his attacks stronger, but his attacks have flame properties like leaving a flame trail behind after a swing. Now, much like with the old Demon King, even with armor that has high physical and fire absorption, he can still wipe the floor with your blood!
I'm telling you, man, he's totally going to bail out the Abyss Watchers, if not sooner.
That's basically why I did it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the Abyss Watchers from Dark Souls 3 is my least favorite boss battle. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like if you enjoy it as much as I have making it. And be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell to be notified whenever I release a new video. And while you're here, comment down below your top 10 least favorite boss fights. As always, my social media links are down below. I've been Horror Kid, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.